My front row is really elite in nature. I am very fortunate that I have people who support me in every single way. And one of the examples that readily comes to mind is when I decided to apply for the Shebang Scholarship. This is a prestigious UK scholarship that allows you to do it's a fully funded master's in the UK. And when I decided to apply for it, my front row, which consisted of my husband Warren, a wildlife fellow 2023 from Jamaica, Ebony Walters, as well as and other shielding scholars that I happen to be friends with, they decided that we're going to do it. I had not yet fully decided, but they decided that we're going to do it. I applied the day before the deadline, and while they were supporting me, they were ensuring that, look, I know you're doubting it, but still go through. And that's November 2022. November 2023. And you wait to hear about the interview in February. So I found out that I was shortlisted for an interview. I did the interview in March, and then I found out that I was successful in getting the scholarship in June. As you realize, that is almost a 7-month cycle. And what my front row was able to do for me, which is the same things that can be attractive for your business, is that they showed up for me even in my moments of doubt, even in my moments of trepidation. They were able to emotionally ground me in my decision to do this. Because along the line, you might feel, should I still be doing this? Should I still be working? But not only were they cheerleading for me, they were also challenging me to get out of my comfort zone. And I think it's important that the people who have the privilege of having the closest access to you, because that's what your front row is, that they should be that balance. They shouldn't be yes women, they shouldn't be yes men. They should be people who see the good in you, but can also see the great in you as well and push you in that direction. And so for me, it is such a privilege to say to you that, hey, I am a Shebang scholar, not on my own volition, but because I had people around me who believed in me, who pushed me through, who were able to emotionally ground me, but were able to hold a mirror up to me and say, Joe, even if it is that you feel that you're not enough, we're here to tell you that not only are you enough, but you're more than enough. So I think it's important that your front row supports you holistically, and they're able to also just be your sounding board, especially when you doubt yourself. And lastly, you have to trust your front row, meaning when they say to you, you can do things, if you don't believe it, you're not going to receive it in the way that you should do. So it's very important that the people that you call your front row, that you trust them and you trust their opinion of you.
Who is on my front row? Well, my front row actually changes. The way I think about the arena analogy is I think of it as if I am performing a play that has different chapters, which is my life or my professional journey. And based on what I'm doing at the time, based on what's happening in that chapter, I may adjust my front row slightly. But there's one common theme that's consistent for the members of my front row, and that is that it has to be somebody that I trust, and it also has to be someone who genuinely wishes me well, but also somebody that's competent in that particular field or chapter of my life. So for example, if I'm creating a product for schools, then on my front row, I will want to have perhaps principals that I feel like I can trust, teachers, maybe parents of students and students themselves, so that they can give me genuine feedback, they can give me insight, they can critique it from a perspective of knowledge and experience. If I'm applying for a consultancy project, then on my front row, it will be perhaps other consultants that I trust, that I know that's not going to try to also write the same consultancy project. But my front row basically changes based on the chapter or the professional leg that I'm on. Now, I'm not necessarily going to ask my mom for advice on a consultancy project, although she's a part of my core team. The front row, I like to think of it as persons that will change based on the project that I'm working on.
Hi fellows, my name is Catherine Ferragacci and I'm a Wildlife alumni from 2021, originally born and raised in Quito, Ecuador. Since 2015, I've been serving artisanal indigenous communities reach the US market through their unique craft and ancestral heritage. So you reach the front row exercise, and I'm so excited because I'm here to tell you that one of those seats, it's probably gonna belong to a Wildlight Fellow that you meet through this program. Because that was one of the reasons why I was so grateful with the Wildlight Network, because I was able to finally identify someone in entrepreneurship world that can understand the pain of what sometimes means to close the business, sell out your idea, or even just be frustrated with the whole process. So it's so important for you to have present or in your mind who could possibly join you in this front row seat. I want to give you the example when I had to sell one of my shares from the company to my business partners, and that eventually led me to leave the company since I was going to pursue my professional growth overseas. It was one of the toughest decisions to make because even when it was an awaited long dream and passion to have one of my companies focused on international trade and investments in Ecuador, and that it tied up to my desire of connecting Ecuador with international opportunities, I knew that there was something about the professional personal growth of living overseas that was overcoming this dream. Therefore, having this person from the Wildlight Network sitting in this front row advising me on the little things of how I should even approach the business partner and what's a better deal in terms of selling out your shares was so helpful to navigate the whole process. I know that probably the other seat is taken by one of my family members, but it's so important to have someone that has been in the industry and that has heard your pain, that is able to cheer up with you and just also sit and cry if that's part of the decision. So for me, it was actually fundamental to have this person sitting at this front row to be able to make a decision and to speak up when I was able to sell this business. So it's one of the toughest things to also deal with this kind of decision-making process. But it was also a very encouraging one to have someone to call after this decision was made. So make sure you have those spots identified in your journey as a fellow.